As he swings in, there's that first kill. A second one, easily done.
The prowess it is the center. Retake! But Cryo with 4.
All right, gentlemen, right now we have Coach Zex. How are you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, map 1, I think the team played phenomenal overall, but I want to talk specifically about Busio's performance. It was a bit of a comeback. I mean, he had more kills on this map than the previous series. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I like to see that. I mean, he had a poor performance, I'll say, in our last match, but you know, it's like, I think some things like he was in his own head about, but coming into this match, me and him had a long talk the night after then, and we kind of set him straight a bit on like what his identity is, like how he plays the game, and like who Busio is in the server, you know? And he's really annoying to deal with, and we wanted to make sure that that's what he brought today.
Yeah, well, what we saw was phenomenal. Honestly, can't wait to see what happens on map 2. Good luck.
Thank you.
There you heard Coach Six there as he was breaking down Busio and how he performed that last game. 100 Thieves pick up a big win on their pick of Bind as we look to break it all down. Golden Boy alongside with Doug. We also got Wyatt and Shazam from G2 joining us here today. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. And Shazam, I want to start with you because this 100 Thieves team definitely felt like, especially going from that first half to the second half, a team that just started to become more and more invigorated as that map continued forward.
Yeah, honestly, 100 Thieves looked really good on their first half on attack. I don't know how many Euros they played against on Bind, but it seemed like they knew what to do.
Yeah.
They knew the rounds to play them out, slow, wait out any possible TP stacks, and then decide to commit to something. On rounds they had ults, seems like they had a rehearsed execute they went straight into. And then there was an example where G2 had a lot of ults on the board, and they threw a really good fake on the B site, and baited out all the ults on that site, won the post plant, even though it came down to a clutch. But it looked like they had a really solid game plan going into the attack.
Yeah, I think they looked complete and they looked comfortable, right? Everybody was kind of contributing. Cryo looked way more comfortable in the controller role. He didn't feel like he was trying to do too much, and it just felt like they also continued to just believe in their plan, right? Asuna struggled at the beginning of the game, and ultimately he continued to struggle, but they continued to set him up. They set him up off of the threshold. They gave him ghost armor in the pistol round in the second half. Like, they knew what their game plan was, and they stuck with it, and ultimately it panned out.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely like a team effort game when you're looking at the stats. No one was super standout. He was playing well. But for me, when we're talking about Cryo with the controller thing, a lot of it is coming down to what controllers he's playing. I just think his Astra, it's just not letting him be in positions to get kills. And
how would you fix it?
I prefer that, like, hopefully, I'm hoping at Split he's playing Omen. And I think he was better because he was playing Brimstone here. I just don't think the Astra's actually allowing him to play as he wants to when he's on the controller. And even, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, but like his util when he was playing on the Astra last week on Split, like he was stunning his own teammates. Like there was just miscomms, misplays. Yeah. And I think when you're playing Brim and you have the rifle skill that he does, you can just put down your smokes and focus on shooting people after that. Like, you're going to be in a much better position. I think it's just easier for him to do.
Yeah, no, fair point, fair point. And, of course, we'll see, though, how that plays out in Map 2. Though one player, though, that Geek Heavy was talking about earlier on was Busio, who had a massive turnaround this game. And I think, you know, it kind of goes back to what you were saying, Shazam, right? Last week could have very well been the outlier. It felt like we saw a completely different person on the server here today. Busio's normal self, basically.
Yeah, he's an incredible player. I think that off days do happen. And you could see, like, straight into this match, he was performing like the usual Busio we know.
Yeah.
And that's an important piece of this team.
Yeah, it has been for a very long time.
I mean, it was in the first half. He was back to getting his clutches and things like that too. There was that 1v4, or it was a 4K that he had in the first half that really felt to me like, oh, okay, the Busio of last week is gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the Busio that we know.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, it's like in any team that he's in, right, he's always going to be that emotional leader. And I feel like when, you know, that person's down, it's very hard to dig yourself back out of that one. Very difficult situation here, but let's, of course, get ready for Map 2 as we dive into that one. Look, could 100 Thieves walk out with the 2-0 for this one? I mean, this feels like 100 Thieves are playing quite confident here, but now we're getting ready for Split. And, well, you know, I mean, anything can happen there. And this isn't paper, but, you know, like, what do you make of that one? Why?
Heading into Split?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Split has been good for them historically. It's just you have a bad taste in your mouth right now because they got smoked by Sen on it. But it's also a great map for Sen, and I really think that if they just do make one, I'm really hoping that Cryos is playing Omen on this map and not Astra, because also when he's wanting to go for aggro plays on B, he was just getting caught out and needlessly dying a lot, and so was Bang. Whereas on Omen, you will have spots where you can have the opportunity to fight and actually TP away and not get caught if he's trying to get one kill and leave when he's anchoring. Yeah. So that is really one. It's a small change that I think would have a lot of importance on the result here.
Well, let's actually see what the coach of G2 has to say as we get ready for map number 2.
Josh RT is joining me, coach of G2. Now, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. I got to ask you, so I think G2 had a great performance in that last map, but where do you think things kind of went a little bit off kilter?
I would say on defense, we forgot a lot of our defensive protocols that we practice. We made some errors in rotations and position-wise, like we were not in the right spots to deal with their executes. And on attack, since we fell in a hole like 4-8 first half, we didn't have enough of a round buffer to deal with what they did. At the end, they just stacked the bolts and just closed the round out. So, yeah.
Well, best of luck on map 2.
Yeah.
And map 2 is where we're headed. It's going to be split, the battleground, to decide whether or not 100 Thieves could walk away with a 2-0 win, or would G2 force that map 3 on Icebox. But you heard Coach Josh RT there say, Wyatt, how, a lot of those defensive protocols, the things that they had prepped, that they were ready for, kind of just fell apart. That's something that simply just cannot happen, because it feels like 100 Thieves, they've always been that drilled team. So even without Busio on the roster. So they got to fix that going into map 2.
Yeah, they'll be starting on attack. Last time we saw G2 playing on this map, they were running the breach, cypher, raise, kind of trap setup comp on defense. So that's also a comp that 100 Thieves used to play a ton and one they really favored. So I was surprised last week when we saw them switch to a non-sentinel comp, because they've always loved cypher so much. And if we're looking right here, 100 Thieves are sticking with the same thing. Cryo is going to be on Astra, and G2, yeah, they're playing the comp I was just talking about, which is obnoxious to play against on defense, because you're going to get pinged with a cypher cam or break a trip, and then you're getting stunned, and then all of a sudden you're getting naded and you're dead, and it sucks. Because your utility kills people in Project A. They lie. So.
Yeah, that breach comp, I know you have to be extremely proactive, whether it's on defense or offense. They're kind of the ones that want to set the pace. And from what I know, they're very rehearsed on this map, so hopefully we'll see some good things.
Yeah, I think they're undefeated on it in Americas for G2. They're very comfortable in the role. I think IC, there were a lot of questions about how he'd do, given that we had only seen him for one weekend last weekend. He looked comfortable on the Yoru. He was taking entries, he was winning gunfights, and I think it'll be interesting to see. Again, there's a lot being put on his shoulders as a solo duelist.
All right, folks. Well, this is it. Let's get ready for map number 2, shall we? We're going to send it back over to Mimi and Ender for the call.
Thanks very much, GB. Yes, G2 3-0 on the map thus far this year. For them, this is a comfortable territory. But the guy I'm watching in the server has got to be Icy. He was great on the Yoru last map, a slower debut in their first game. He's on the Raze here, and he has a comp that really enables that Raze player to do a lot.
Yeah, we've got full support here. This isn't any of your Sky, flash for info. No, this is go, go, go with that breach to support Icy. And as we dive into this game, it'll be a big one for G2 to get back into the swing of things. I can already tell you, Icy's got the support of his team on this pistol round. He bought the light armor. He got a ghost chucked over to him. It is all on his back from the get-go.
Little raid boss action to start. And him and Jonah P holding hands. See that most
Happy
of
for
this
that.
map.
Here. Instantly, the camera just being broken in main. I don't even think we've got to see really anything off of that one. But G2 aren't going to be playing their hand too early in this one. They've got the Viper wall over towards B that they can try to lurk in front of. Not going to be allowed this time around, though, with Asuna playing up in front of it. And instead, just looking for an eventual 2-3 split over into this A site. Getting quickly up into Mail to force a player back and maybe pull a rotation off of that A site while these 3 players start to creep up. Oh boy, wow, Leaf gets through there somehow.
I have no idea how he's lived through that endeavor.
That is wild. There's no smoke on Heaven right now either, because G2 went really quickly on that timing. Still get the plant off, no problem.
Breach is still sitting down in sewers. There'll be a very late reflank. We'll keep tabs on that as 100 Thieves are going to set up for this set retake. Haunt, Dizzy, Smokes. They have the whole 9 yards to invest into this one. But can they go quick enough before Jonah P arrives? Molly, that'll be the first stage of stall, but Asuna is past it to Cade and taking a lot of damage. This refight is excellent out of G2.
Here comes Jonah, up the ropes, waiting for his timing. Saw the back of a player walking through, and we're in astral form. Cryo falls, Jonah gets his and dips away.
Now it's a fight on the site, and G2 is winning them all. That wingman will be shut down in just a moment as G2 cleanly deal with that post plant.
There we go. That's the G2 pistol round that we saw just last week. 4 out of 4 on those. Lost 2 players at the end. Makes it a little bit less pretty, but pretty good all around.
Yeah, I love the protocols on that one. Jonah and Icy initially setting up towards mid, and then some great layers to that one. The second the Util's coming in, they're refighting towards elbow, isolate this first kill, and that sets G2 up to really close this one out.
I will say they found a bit of a gap over here on this A site. Notice the 100 Thieves is not running a Sentinel in their comp. They usually put their info over on that A side of the map, so when none of that got used against them early, they really found ways to abuse this space. 100 Thieves looking for a bit of a trap in mid on this round on the Eco. Very similar stuff to what we saw from 100 Thieves playing this map back during kickoff.
That's a cute little trap play there. The Dizzy and the Haunt coming up on the rope for 2 players, but no one was there to receive.
Going to be going for the safe plant back here. Good wrap from main as an option on this one. Leaf 2, you'll see, just holding on the extremities. He's not looking for the flank this time around. Instead, waiting as 100 Thieves get a flank of their own going on, trying to flush out whoever that's going to be. They definitely weren't expecting Jonah P to be the re-wrap in the last game. You never expect the breach flank.
No. I've really liked Leaf on the Sentinel role thus far. Feels like it was really made for him. He just has such incredible mechanics when he's anchoring alone. And when you put him on those lurks, he's a player who has such a good idea of the timings of this game that he's really taking the perfect opportunities. Also, I imagine adding a second voice to help Valen out as well. Very vocal player when he's given the chance.
Yeah, and he was always, even when he was the star duelist on C9, he would always flex over, play the odd Sky here, the odd Viper on Bind. Never really too much of the Sentinel, as a matter of fact, but it certainly suits his playstyle. Can rely on him a ton.
That's good for Jonah to actually sneak that kill onto EU instead of letting him die to Spike. One more orb towards that breach ultimate.
So now this is really where I want to see if G2, their read is just to continue abusing this A site. Again, what I was sort of hinting at is that because 100 Thieves don't have a Sentinel, their setup is almost always to put both their Fade and their Gecko over on A side. And they can do things like use the Prowlers to scout out down ramp whenever that wall goes up, whenever any lurking cages are thrown. That's usually how they deal with it. And then you'll see a lot more pairing up of both Trent and Icy to play util combos in mid or in male. It's always Cryo on his own over towards that B site. I meant Asuna and Bang.
Nade for Asuna, ready to go in mid.
Got a lot of bodies walking up here from G2.
Picks a good timing on that one. Spam gets a little shaky, but he finds his mark in the nade as well, helping out in that one. So positive trade for 100 Thieves.
A lot of pressure on Cryo. Players coming out of heaven through main. He finds the first and covers it over into a second somehow. Trent left all on his own. The spike stuck in hell.
Lovely to see those kind of rounds out of Cryo cells. This guy was struggling a little bit the last time we saw him play Astra in 100 Thieves' debut series for stage 1.
Talk about people that are left on their own. Cryo is isolated all the time on this B site, and he loves playing up close like we just saw. Trent has managed to recover the spike though, planting slightly off the normal line just to try and get something done. Actually dodging all the utility. He wants to go for a kill. Peeks on out of the smoke, gets his, but the 3v1 is just not gonna happen.
They had their fun.
So clean round there for 100 Thieves, dealing with the mid aggression with some nice util of their own.
Very characteristic, yeah. Again, Cryo likes to get in front of the Viper setup over on this side, and he can sort of play with that information that he has to set up more aggressive re-clears on other areas of the map.
Yeah, this kind of like new wave of Viper on the map with this lurk wall over towards B that you're always seeing teams throw. It forces you to be a lot more proactive in your B play.
100%. So how do G2 come back into here? I still think threatening lurks up A short, very effective. Taking the fight into mid, also clearly getting the job done for Icy.
Yeah, I mean, Asuna just swinging ahead of that. I don't think he even had any util to support, was just Trying to take a fight off the rip.
And again, that happens a lot with how 100 Thieves play. All their proactive fighting tools are going to be over towards A. Yeah, they've got the Astra that can assist globally as they just walk into the line once again.
Yeah, no util used for the second time here, and EU stunned up, naded off. He's trapped towards heaven. G2 have a completely open A site.
There is a flank coming in. That's the only thing to really keep a mind on, but there's also a trip directly in Bang's path, so that's going to be sold out just as soon as he runs into that one. Honestly, 100 Thieves might be well served to go for a save here. Like, Bang just play on this trip, look for maybe an exit kill or two. Because this round is not looking winnable. And that's just what happens when you have two players walk out, take a forward line, get shut down easily. Round dissipates.
Playing no Sentinel on this map can be quite a challenge on your defense.
And basically the way 100 Thieves would usually get around this, let's pretend they have 5 players alive, is they're not just walking out into the open and taking their ones. What their comp really thrives with is this mid-range utility. Everyone's got a piece of utility to be able to fight with. So what they'll do instead is very aggressively re-clear down into ramp, through mid, back into B main, these sorts of areas, and they'll try to catch G2 or any team they're playing against before the exec comes into play. That's where 100 Thieves' power is, not the sitting and playing the slow game.
But G2 have found a lot of really good timings here, just contacting up towards A, finding these pops. When you go for that fast execute, and there's not enough players there to flood retake, it honestly makes these rounds really difficult for 100 Thieves to win.
It's exactly the right idea for 100 Thieves to go for. Or rather, for G2 to go for. 100 Thieves is going to be the ones to call a timeout this time around. Maybe looking for some options to deal with that ramp area after getting beaten there a couple of times now. But really, when we saw them in Kickoff, they didn't have a ton of different looks. It was almost always going to be the Gecko fade over towards A. They had some aggressive looks with Asuna. They had one B main fight, but for the most part, it was trap plays around mid, and then util to scout out and make sure they couldn't get lurked on the A side of the map.
The question around this comp, I think a lot of the times, is going to fall on Asuna, because when you lack that Sentinel, like you're talking about with the necessity for proactivity, Asuna is the guy who's getting set up for that. And if he's not winning out on the duels, finding them that space, then this comp on defense really starts to fall apart.
Yeah, they've got to find ways to lock down both mid and ramp. That's where it's getting beaten up. That's where Asuna lost that fight just in the previous round to Icy, and everything sort of spiraled out of control after that one. G2 not looking to overplay their hand, I think, at the start here. Maybe utilizing the breach stun, the fault line to get up ramp as an option or fight against early aggression. Because you can see Asuna wants to fight into A lobby. When they've got these 3 players ready to go, that's usually some kind of a push play. And it's with 2 of their only rifles in this round.
Cam insta-broken yet again. Here comes this forward fight, but Leaf, he's out of there.
Yeah, G2 have to react instantly. Either into B or up through mid, but the Viper orb in mid has stalled them down. So instead, they creep back over, they take some space into B, but Cryo's still hanging out backside, playing a really nasty off angle on the walkout.
He has won the hero rifles in this round. How much can he get done?
Good
Nade
util.
at his feet. Molly, but he's found a gap in it. Still healthy enough to get something done. Here comes the clearance. Cryo wins the first, but the trade is instant from G2. And now Bang is going to have that same task ahead of him, and he falls as well. G2, clean house, only Asuna left, and he's getting overwhelmed from so many different angles. A flash in his face, a pit in front of him, only 45 HP.
Tried to go for the silent drop, failed it. Just clears back into mail. Jonah's not giving him a fight. G2 are fully dialed in here, making Asuna waste away time and eventually step on out of this one.
He might honestly want to fight here. 2 players have ult online. He gets a kill, dies.
Sure.
Could have the Raze rocket for the next. You can build ideas around that.
Wouldn't be too bad. They've also got the money because it was just the few rifles they carried over from the previous round. I like the read on that one, Mimi, and he's gonna have his opportunity. So they're on here through spawn, swinging around the line. He gets his 2 and escapes with the rifle to boot.
Lovely stuff there at the end, but still another round where G2 take initial pressure, then find the other site, contact in, and find the perfect timing for one of these executes.
Great mid-rounding from G2. Had to deal with some problems here, right? Cryo, the util not quite connecting on him. Also, G2 flooded out onto the site. They used, 100 Thieves flooded onto the site because they used G2's own Viper Wall against them to get them jumping out of heaven. That's how they had so many bodies on the ground so quickly. It looks like coming out of the timeout too, yet another look. We've got a bit of aggression towards B main. The Raze and the Fade teamed up there with an early smoke to lay claim to that space. And again, G2 tested with this opening of rounds, those slight pivots in the play of 100 Thieves. What is their decision? It looks like it's going to be to re-clear and re-fight into that B main space, where really Austin has just been left on his own.
G2 take control towards B main. Again, you see that this Viper World is forcing 100 Thieves to be proactive towards B. They have to have a player looking ahead of this one. And Austin is going to get flashed up. Ult's being committed. They're going fast into this hit, but it was never a full commitment. Rocket is there. Asuna has committed it, and Cryo is the only man standing on the site. G2 not looking for him, not hunting for him. The flash is straight from Busio towards heaven. This is all falling to pieces. Leaf still left. His spike on the floor. Jonah far away, but he's ahead of the ankle. Finds one. Has to look for more in this one. It's swing towards heaven, though. It's too well timed. And 100 Thieves have this one on lock. Bit of a fumble there from G2.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool idea from G2. Again, no send-to-util on A means that if you really sell a fake well, and they did, 2 ultimates, they get that opening kill. It looked completely like G2 was executing into that B site. But all it takes is one guy in outer space. Rocket Man Cryo setting up stars on the other side of the map. Didn't actually rotate off that A site.
30 seconds left.
So he's able to cause havoc. You got Busio throwing dizzies through that smoke in heaven, with Cryo calling the rotates over. The magic trick just didn't work out for G2.
Molly haunted to A main.
There.
Asuna can't fight any deeper off of that.
I do like these adjustments from 100 Thieves ever since the timeout. Really showing more forward utility on this A side. Asuna looking for an actual fight up close on that wall. But after not scouting anything out, they're actually rotating back, maybe for a bit of a B re-clear. Maybe seeking out into mid here. They've got a Prowler, they've got a Seize. Boosty has the ultimate, so if they really wanted to send it on a bit of a gamble call, they could. EU's actually playing just on the rope there. So if he sees anyone step into vents, I think that's the call, is just let that Thrash rip.
Cage triggered.
Leaf has kept 2 players on this site.
That's going B main with the Thrash to set up Crashy. Sorry, Cryo.
Toxin screen down.
And it does detain onto one, but that Thrash is going to be lost. Still 35 seconds for G2 to work with.
G2,
this lurk.
G2 have no time here to get back into the site.
Left.
They don't have heavy exec ults. They don't have a lot of utility.
Everything, and Trent loses it. Leaf picks one up on the other side, but B is our focus, and Cryo has fallen. He needed to do more. I think
there's 15 seconds left. They're ulting over to A. Valen got the ultimate, now onto the A side, but EU finds the kill. 10 seconds on the clock, and EU gets them both.
He's won the round. The rest of G2, too far away. Another overcook there.
Mimi, how many rounds on the previous map did G2 lose on time? Like, it was a handful.
Yeah.
They lost a lot on their attacking side, and especially against ults. They would wait into these rounds, and then 15 seconds left, there's still 2-3 ults ready to shut them down.
And I feel like that's the duality of how Valen likes to call his attack sides, right? He loves playing really slow, throws a lot of fake rounds into the mix. But sometimes it's a little overcomplicated and falls apart.
Yeah. I mean, to their credit, like, you don't expect EU to still be on A getting 2 kills off of the Omenal.
But that is twice in a row that 100 Thieves kept a player A and win because of it.
Yep, 100 Thieves. Very clear, their ideas of how to play the map, not over-rotating, and that's an important thing with the comp they're running. They've got to trust their sides of the map and still hold their ground against any sort of late lurks or late pivots.
And again, you talk about old 100 Thieves, you feel like sometimes they lost that trust, right? Over-rotating, over-committing to help out their teammates. Losing themselves in those mid-rounds. This team, not so much. 2 players in mid, maybe considering a fight off that orb drop, but they elect against it, instead just another Molly to stall.
100 Thieves just wanted to show all that pressure, still not giving up the line. You notice if they give up this line into mid, all of a sudden there's a cross that can get over into heaven, and that would put a lot of pressure back on EU there, Cryo.
Second round in a row he's played there and gotten value out of it. Paranoia towards heaven. Bang has escaped. All this util is for pretty much nothing, as he's gonna actually not be able to get anything out of this one, and neither does Asuna. All on Cryo. How's he got 3? Seems impossible that he's done so much. Use deafened
30 seconds
at least
left.
one of those players.
Spike planted.
And Busio's just sprinting. He knows that Jonah can't hear, so he's just running up behind him. So astute from the leader, Valen, though. Misses one piece, has to shoot the second. He'll teleport towards main.
Shadows traveling.
1v2. He hears both players drop into backside. Wingman available for the defuse. He's gonna stick this. Valen has to fight. Finds an opportunity, but misses out. 100 Thieves tie the game.
Cryo is just a man for 100 Thieves. Locking down that B site completely. I mean, 3 kills from the spot he was in was just completely ridiculous.
One big disadvantage of this solo breach comp is normally when you're going for your B hits with the more usual sky comps or double initiator stuff like 100 Thieves have, you have some kind of dog to clear those close angles. The breach flash is the easiest flash to turn in the game. If you don't have a perfect stun, if you don't have perfect timing, those off angles can be incredibly punishing.
And you can also play right up close and personal with that smoke. Shut it down completely. Timeout does come in for G2, and we saw back on Bind that there were some pretty big adjustments to how they played their attacking half. Back on Bind, it was about looking for that deep dive onto the A site. Now, well, that's really the question. They have not found a good answer against Cryo on this B site. He's always found a couple of kills, no matter what it's really been over there. But do they want to fight into that? Do they want to overload utility into the common places he's going to be playing, or just avoid it entirely?
Raise rocket for Icy this round. Chance to maybe do something a little bit quicker if they want to. See players posturing towards mid.
Yeah, they don't want to do anything too fast with that rocket, I don't think. We're just looking to, go into a bit of a default here. 1-2-2. Scout out what it is 100 Thieves and what their difference is going to be, because usually if you see any piece of Fade or Gecko utility not in A main, you instantly know 100 Thieves have made a big pivot, but 100 Thieves really haven't. They're just back to the default they've been going for every single round. It is nothing too shocking for them. Early into the round, though, we're already down a breach flash. Paranoia and Fault Line not used just yet, so if they want to accelerate or try working back into A, that could be their best bet now.
100 Thieves wants to fight through the smoke. They pick their timing to perfection, and that is a big player for G2 to lose.
It's all about those re-clears, bringing down their Viper Orb, looking for the fight, leaving the space entirely. Now, how do you force into a site? It's got to be Icy with that ultimate.
Look at Bustio. Off angle. Do they have the discipline to clear him? Icy's not looking.
Know.
The rookie has spotted him, and Bustio's activated. 1-for-1! Icy's killed his teammate. That's right, IGL, man. What are you doing? 2v4 now. And he's flooded into backside. He's ahead of this one. Icy's just not looking, and Trent's in trouble. A swing from EU. What a blunder.
It is just a disaster round for G2 coming out of that timeout. Bustio is just giving him the business from across the stage.
He's just laughing at him. Thanks for the help, Icy.
I mean, it starts off with that great little play, bringing down the Viper Orb with 2 players behind it. Then Icy, with the ult, doesn't clear close flower box, so Bustio gets the kill. Then it's a team kill. EU uses all the chaos of it to sneak into elbow somehow.
G2 won 4 out of the 5 first rounds in this game. And since then, 100 Thieves has won 4 in a row of their own. They have controlled this defense on split.
Flash in, forces Bang off the line, and G2 are trying to go into mail fast, but good flood utility, just dominating that space. The spam, the pain shells, G2 are falling apart.
Lovely stuff there. 100 Thieves, the util combo is perfection, and Cryo's ready to maybe even fight for more I mean, you can just see the confidence in these guys.
One enemy remaining.
G2 need to find some way to hit the brakes and sort of recover themselves, and maybe it's with Trent! What is he doing? A 1-on-4 brought to 1-on-1. Low HP, but Trent cannot carry it through.
So damn close.
Okay, that's a little way to reset yourself.
Yeah, but it's still not around.
It's not around, but it gets a little hype going. Can't say no to that after a couple of disasters.
One enemy remaining.
Good lord, I mean, dude's on 1 HP.
Ridiculous.
One enemy remaining.
He still got it.
Clearly.
Was never in doubt.
Oh, Busio's not talking anymore.
laughing anymore.
Curious. What changed, Mimi?
I mean, the little sparkle. We almost lost that. Big round here for G2, though. If they end this half 8-4, could be signing their own death warrant in this series.
100 Thieves are dominating both mains, though. Trent on his own. Saw what the Sheriff does. He stepped into this space in B main. 2 players there, and Thrash was just picked up for Busio. The orb unlocked that ability for him. G2 have recognized that mid is a gap, though.
They can refight into this one. A nasty off angle for EU. Spam to try and bait that no one's in this position. Can he find a shot? It's such perfection out of EU.
Oh, it's a nasty trap. The star comes in to haunt the Thrash to go on down.
And look
But
at the
somehow,
next layer of this one.
Jonah just blasted him! Mid-Thrash, bang on the other side, though, gets 2 kills, peeking out of his ult. Back in it with the shorty! And he has 3! Back up the ramp, looking for Jonah! And 100 Thieves destroy G2!
The layers of that round are stunning. It's a trap play towards B Heaven. G2 is pushed back into Heaven, and there's 2 different players ping-ponging to fight towards B. Then a Viper Pit in the late round. How do you get past them?
Absolutely. I mean, the only kill they got was
an aftershock on a player stuck in an ult.
Like, what on earth? A ridiculous angle for that, but I mean, bang. Low on bullets, switching over the shorty inside the pit is just perfection.
That'll get the blood pumping. Another fight for 100 Thieves. They're going to commit deeper on this one. Just getting that ult for Asuna.
Another round where they dominate main space. They've got B main, they've got A main. The only gap is into vents. And this could be massive. G2 finally looking to seize space early on. Yet Asuna remains ready for it.
100 Thieves doing a good job of policing this again. Asuna and EU.
There.
They might want to refight into main here. Off Boostio's contact, they can pop an ult and punish. But that'll activate the mid lark. That means the pressure this round is on EU and Asuna on their respective sides. Ult committed, Asuna in. 2 kills found. Now here comes the vent players.
Up the vent. EU ready for it. Here's those players gunning around the corner. Asuna gets his 3.
Flawless.
And Valid in main. He's cut down to 8-4. 100 Thieves are owning.
Switching sides.
100 Thieves just turned up the heat here from round 6 to 12, winning out in their entirety. I mean, Asuna just playing on that corner there, sees the gun, and doesn't even hesitate to snap that showstopper.
Another beautiful round for 100 Thieves to flawless to end the half here. G2 have a lot of work if they want to try and rally in this second. Keep this series in control. But for now, we got Geek Heavy with a special guest.
Amazing performance by 100 Thieves so far. Joining me right now, we have former 100 Thieves player Will. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Yes, the arena is hyped. I want to know what has your experience been like? Because you used to play with Also and Bang, so how do you think they're doing so far?
I mean, I think they're playing phenomenal right now.
Yeah.
I'm mostly happy for Sean because everyone's been giving them so much shit. So I love that Sean's frying them right now.
Ooh, okay. All right, well, I mean, what do you think they need to do to kind of push this and just like end this right here on the second map?
Well, I think they're having a lot of fun on the stage, and I love that because I think vibes is really important in this game. And if they just keep doing that, I mean, they're frying everyone. They just keep it up.
Yes. Will everybody? We're not done yet. I like honestly. I want to know what has been like one of the highlights though that you've seen on map 2.
Sorry?
Yeah. Well, one of the highlights that you've seen from your former team.
Well, I mean, literally that last round where Sean got 3 in the pit. Cryo's had massive rounds, honestly, on B main. I don't know how he's getting 3 every single time, but he's doing that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's toss things back. Give it up for 100 Thieves.
Will 100 Thieves close out? That's the question now. They're up 8-4 at the half.
From 100 Thieves Will to Will 100 Thieves. The great turnaround. 100 Thieves looked so good at the end of that half. Mimi's booing me. Okay, understood. G2 though, I mean, that was just brutal what happened to them. I mean, they had a couple of nice rounds, right, with the Sheriff coming in hot.
7 rounds in a row.
Off of Trent, but yeah. It is not a great look.
They need to win this pistol. It's a fast hit towards A from 100 Thieves. Dizzy into the site. Asuna has all the space. G2 will play a set retake.
Oh, giving that spike over to Asuna. Get that showstopper online. Delayed slightly, but still enough time to get this down before the smoke fades.
Planted.
And 100 Thieves are going to be looking to play heavy for ramp control into heaven late in the round. G2 have to be ready for it.
That refight is everything. But for now, it's the fight on the site. Paranoia for Valen. But more util to stall. Finally, the commitment will come out. Here's the fight towards ramp. That's 1. 2-for-1 trades thus far. Icy into the backside of site. But there's still a lurk here. They were waiting for the re-clear. G2 is ready. A tap on the spike. Both players trying to fight up through the ramp. But that spike not being stuck just yet. And a chance for EU if he can win that duel. But it's just not happening. G2. If they've got one thing, it's pistol rounds.
That is very true. Trent's position there coming up really nicely for them. And that's a whole idea, right? They're going so heavy through screens, they know that ramp was going to be a weakness. So leaving Trent to be the ultimate rat, right? Like, think of all his teammates, how many fights happened up in heaven before he went for that swing. But it's exactly what they needed, that late control. 100 Thieves try to heat in here, not expecting the Viper to be stuck down in vent, and that keeps G2 very well in this.
I feel like we've seen a lot of teams take great learnings from how good Sentinels has gotten at this map, with setting more protocols to punish that ramp re-clear that is so prevalent in those A posts.
Yeah, especially when 100 Thieves are going to be running with the Gecko, so you can wingman plant and very quickly be fighting forward for screen space, going back into ramps. 100 Thieves can get very mobile with it.
It's going to be a look towards B here for 100 Thieves. And they're walking into a judge. Icy. Finds 1. It's only 1. Great movement by Asuna to get ahead.
A little stylish from him to get around the corner. Now he's got the judge. Bad news is no satchels, so hard to actually make use of that one on the attack.
Poison's off.
Actually, Cryo's hung out over in B main with the spike.
Poison orb emitting.
What are 100 Thieves thinking? Because they've got a couple of options. They could try to play this round out and split into that B site. The other option is, and they're going for it, rotate back into A and try to sell a hit so well that you maybe get a plant in. They do not have that much time to work with.
The spike actually looks like it's going to join towards A. Just going to be very late here for Cryo. Here comes the commitment.
Camera taken out.
New Sentinel player Leaf. He's got all the util to stall this one out. Rotates.
Cage triggered.
Coming in for at least one player. Leaf just playing around in his cages. And he picks the right angle. Good fight onto Bang, and the trip has caught off Asuna. It's only 2 kills picked up, but the rest of the team has arrived just in time to likely win this retake. Still, EU could be dangerous here. But the Molly is there, very thorough from G2. That's a judge, though. The Paranoia, he's too close for it to matter, but that's a great teleport out of Valen. The second angle, the difference maker.
DP might have saved G2 there. Got a little close at the end, but still using the mollies, doing everything by the books on that retake to keep it as clean as possible. Now, one thing G2 are going to struggle with a little bit on this defense is getting forward information, right? Because they don't have a Sky, you don't have a Dog, you don't have a Flash, anything like that. They've got a ton of passive info, right? The Cypher setup towards A is always going to have that on lock. But we may see more lines like Icy just took, where he stepped all the way up into B main, where they try to take a little bit more space with their bodies and get a forward posting, so that they have a little bit more control, a little bit more understanding where 100 Thieves are trying to play on the map.
Yeah, another big strength is, Falk, you were mentioning this in the pregame, the trap plays. You can set up with a camera, have a stun, have a nade.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different options there, which means that 100 Thieves have to be really careful about how they scale.
Yeah, even just an idea like they've got right now, there's a fault line ready to go, thrown into B main. Icy gets up into that space. 100 Thieves, though, are seizing mid-control. Trudge around the smoke, but it's not going to get anything done.
Okay,
Zasna finds a quick 2.
Yeah, big entries out of that, man.
100 Thieves just making G2 sweat now. You get 2 kills and you just freeze, nobody move. You know G2 are gonna have to walk into you. Icy's gonna have to do something. He can't just sit backside B. Too many angles he could be approached from.
But 100 Thieves is heading back towards the A side. This is the strong side. Viper utility, tripwires. There's still a chance for this round to get dangerous.
If they find 2 players here on this A site, though, they've got enough time to potentially wrap back through Heaven into mid. We'll see what they end up doing here. Paint Shell to try and clear close Cypher utility, but still a trip left on site. As now they go back up into ramps. They're aware of a Viper on this site. Are they going for the read? At the same time, G2 getting some rotates of their own back here and holding off against the CT push.
Trent is alone on site. And that's where 100 Thieves is heading. Asuna, satcheling forward. Trent full HP. Boostio, his wingman is going to get the spike down as Asuna wins the fight. And he gets a 4th as well. Flawless round, 100 Thieves.
That was nice. Going back up into Heaven puts the pressure on G2, and then the flood out onto site with wingman with the satchels. Beautiful.
100 Thieves, only remaining player of that initial roster, Asuna. He has been with this team since the beginning. He's got a beard now. He's been on the squad so long.
They actually haven't let him shave.
Yeah.
They wanted to show the passage of time.
But he's still good on the raise.
Yeah, now he's got a showstopper too. G2, not much in the way of cash. So they've just got bodies up in B Heaven. It's been a bit of a brawl for mid the last couple of rounds. 100 Thieves putting a lot of players in there themselves. And G2 are trying to get ahead of that this time.
It'll be an aftershock. I imagine just comboed with the paranoia here to fight back in. That's only if 100 Thieves activate that trap play. Which for now, they're just biding their time for re-aggression.
Yeah, you can't really move out of a trap play like this on a low buy. You gamble it all on 100 Thieves stepping into you. But now, I think 100 Thieves have sussed it out, because you saw a very forward camera placed. That's unnatural from Leaf. And then also, you're not scouting anything in vents. Hold on. We're anticipating it's a bit of a B stack, something like this. Maybe stepping back into B main to try and clear that out.
Bang has a 1v1 ramp here. Leaf just a frenzy to work with. Good clearance.
And now they've got to go back into A. You don't know if it's just the one player. That B side is open. Even the wall to guarantee this plant. Ooh, check out where Austin is playing. Boost himself up on that box there with the coverage given by the wall. That is going to be a nasty angle to play off of once this wall comes down. Oh no! Jonah P steps through the smoke for 1.
But it was only 1. 3 left alive. But they've recovered 2 weapons here. A Guardian and a rifle. EU on the off angle. Lines up a double. I think just a little high-low there. That is lovely stuff for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Valen got a kill over on the flank that Bang was holding out for, but yeah, that high-low, a little bit too much to deal with. That's not one you run into all too often.
The little things this series for 100 Thieves have been really good. Setting up these high-lows when they have time.
Yeah.
Going for these kind of individual re-clears in the late round. Doing a great job of comboing their utility. This is a team that has grown so much from the failure that was their last season.
Look, the Copers are going to keep coping. 100 Thieves had the group of death, but honestly, they had so many close
the
games.
The cope is real.
The cope is real. I believe in it.
Sentinels twice in a row.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Close games both times.
Very true. Now doing very well up against a G2 that just dismantled EG last week. Like, there's no 2 ways to put that.
Asuna was just staring at him for a second there.
Asuna, what are you looking at?
Timeout for G2 now. Last chance to recover in this series.
G2 have a showstopper to work with. This could be a good round to implement some kind of a trap play with the Cypher camp, if they wanted to go for that. Would limit their tools over on the A site if that was the call to come on in. But I think with the way that 100 Thieves have sort of been slowly taking space in rounds, a little bit less committed of a defense from G2 would be nice, so they don't have to play so far forward, play for a little trap idea, especially around mid. That's usually where 100 Thieves have been trying to exploit. But you can never anticipate 100 Thieves are just going to run back and do the same thing coming out of a timeout. It's the hard read to that's a turtle.
You only have one line.
I've got one bit.
Swing round here. Rocket for Icy. He has had a tough second map.
He's
6 and 11 thus far for the rookie.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a tough few maps so far on the debut. Right now, just set up for a big fight in B main. Do they snap it off the rip? There they do. Ult goes in, but does he clear the close box? They're all around the wall, and he can't get it. That's another ult this game, where 100 Thieves just tuck themselves into a close corner and get that easy kill.
He got a kill last time.
Yeah?
It was on Valen, but...
Maybe you can't do that to him.
All right. 4v4 now. That was a big trade to pick up for Valen.
Oh, look, 100 Thieves have been stalled out for now. G2 comfortable to maybe move back over towards that A side of the map, but 100 Thieves really just freezing. They've still got their showstopper. They've still got Thrash. This B side is going to be hard to hold on to. I'm honestly a little surprised G2 are still committing bodies into this area of the map.
No charges.
With Cryo dead, there's no smokes to walk up into mid here, so it just has to be a contact from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, we're looking to split hit. Thrash in from B main. Showstopper can blitz it up into heaven if they want. And these players are going to fall. Valen goes down. Still, backside is Trent holding on to that line. He gets his one and a second. He's keeping it together from on site, but now it has been cleared.
Wingman plants a spike. Leaf joined by his teammate now, both through spawn. EU up top to hold this one. Great first kill. Leaf trades onto one. He's low on HP. They're both one shot. And Leaf gets it done. He's still a star.
That is heroic from Leaf. I mean, 2v2. How did G2 get in there? They've got no utility whatsoever, but Leaf takes his time approaching that fight. Stays cool in the moment when it was about to run away from 100 Thieves. Again, a swing round right there if they had lost that one. But the combined efforts of Trent on site getting 2 kills, where there's a Thrash coming his way, a showstopper, tons of utility. And the close from Leaf is good. A pivot in the setup now from G2. Cypher util over towards the B side of the map, and another aggressive look into A main.
It's gonna be a brawl. Nade, stun, both sides investing a lot of utility, but it's dead even. Space taken for 100 Thieves. G2 retreating to site, but Asuna up ramp.
Heaven is a gap. It's just Trent underneath those ropes holding on to it for now. 100 Thieves have been very measured in their approaches, right? They're not instantly blitzing into the site after they see those 2 players. There could still be a heavy stack with players in heaven. Now that the rotate has come through, that is true. Trent gets the first kill from on the rope. Icy gets another. And 100 Thieves have been as good as stalled out here on ramp.
Low HP on Trent, and not a lot of util to try and re-hit here for 100 Thieves. They'll be revealed by the Cypher ult, but they're gonna take into the site. Can they hold against this retake? Can EU make a play? They'll hold towards spawn. A smoke will block off a bang. Can't risk planting open. They won't have a heaven rewrap this round, or at least not when it's planted for it.
Pit unlocked, but G2, they actually just spent so much into elbow, didn't scale off of it. Wrapping around the other way instead. Playing on the outskirts of the pit, but Cryo is here waiting for the approach. It's not planted for him up in heaven, but with EU around the corner, they have brought it to 2-on-2. Back and forth, bang goes, scouting out the players and taking them down. It's another for 100 Thieves.
How did they win that? In a man disadvantage, trapped on the site, they make it work. The movement from Bang in that round was expert. Isolating fights in the pit, baiting time for Cryo, ping-ponging back and forth, lovely stuff.
And he only gets the Viper's pit because of the plant going in. That was critical. G2 also used both their paranoia and their fault line into elbow, but right as the pit was cast, they didn't scale off of that. They walked in dry to every single fight they took. And 100 Thieves, all those little offlines playing around the pit, it was just too much to deal with.
A pit of their own for G2 in mid.
3 stingers for G2. There's a Nightfall, there's util combos, not gonna catch on to Trent. But if they wanted to get back in, they could.
Refight A main. G2 going for this one. They hold the util for now. Just walk up off the smoke. The goal to get Jonah his ult. That's a success. They'll back away now.
On Bind, they were in the same position, and they chose to save, to not play out this round and give 100 Thieves 12. Even with ults available, even with a couple of guns. This time, though, it's way more equalized. 5v5 still, clock is dwindling. And 100 Thieves are about to walk into that Cypher cam on B.
They're biting on this fake. 3 players over at the A site now. The Viper's still trapped in mid. It's only 1 trip and a player in heaven to stop this B hit.
But that's okay. G2 want to play retake with the Rolling Thunder. Jonah P is in position back towards Alley. And 100 Thieves aren't in just yet. The clock is moving, Mimi.
30 seconds.
30 seconds left.
If G2 timed this flood retake right, they could win the round. Wingman planting the spike. Jonah committing his ult. Here comes the fight. Leaf wins the first. A second as well from the Cypher towards heaven. Spike has to come down. Another flash. Another fight. Bang has too much to deal with.
One enemy remaining.
And G2 shut it down.
Leaf can't hear a thing. It doesn't matter. Giggling his way through that one. 4 kills on the round, and it was the perfect setup. Playing for the ult at the start of the round. Leaf playing off it to perfection.
They needed to win that round, and they do. A full force up, all their money invested. 2 ults put into that one. And they make it happen.
All good, all good.
All good.
100 Thieves gonna wash that one off. That was one of the 2 rifles that G2 had in the hands of Leaf. Used to perfection there. And Thieves called their own timeout. And really, what has changed since G2 called their timeout, since they started winning? It's been tons of early round aggression. G2 have been dominating the orbs to play for those critical ultimates. They've been fighting forward with both their breach and their raise utility. 100 Thieves need to adjust to that, whether that's going to be quickly exploiting space in mid and looking to split away from the main that G2 is attacking, or looking to fast refight into an A or B main. Remember, this 100 Thieves comp has so much fantastic utility for clearing away those close corners. The Astra Stars, the Fade util, everyone's got a little piece. And they can be putting that together as we speak right now.
Bit of bad news. Another tech pause.
Womp womp. It could be worse.
Could be. Last time it was quick.
That it was. I mean, and we're in a bit of a nail biter right here because G2 get that round win. They've won 2 of the last 3. They can start building back here. They've got decent money now as well. So even if they are to lose one here in the next round, they've got enough to keep going, even when 100 Thieves get up to 12.
The player who's kept them in it that's really impressed me has been Trent this series. The guy's always been such a rock for this team. Critical in those clutches, flexible when he's playing the Viper, when he's playing the Initiator. He's world-class on both roles. And he's been stepping up big time, particularly as an anchor in this second half for G2.
What is it with G2 and their smokes players? Last week it was Valen topping the charge every single game. Now it's Trent having a good one here over on Split. They've certainly been stepping up.
Busio's in the flow state, meditating during the tech pause.
I've never seen the head warmer before. That's new technology from Busio. Getting out of his chair too, straighten himself out.
I think you lose most of your heat through the head, so.
Is that true? It's all the brain power, you know, just the neurons firing.
Yeah, tough being an
So much energy escaping.
We're back into it though. 11-8. Critical round here for G2 if they want to push us to Icebox.
100 Thieves taking a little bit out of the C9 split playbook. An anti-ramps dive set up from them with the breach over on that side, or G2 rather. But that's not where 100 Thieves are attacking. 100 Thieves, once again, taking space over into mid, trying to blow that up after the last few rounds where so much about forward space being taken. I like that G2 have slowed it down just a little bit, and again, are just waiting for a straggler pushing up A main to run into the crosshair of Icy before ripping that stun.
You did good.
Dizzy picked back up in mid. One of the big strengths of this 100 Thieves comp, being able to take early space, get that second cycle, and go for an execute.
I don't know. I think this setup is going to cook 100 Thieves. They've spent 40 seconds just looking at this green goo in mid. Yeah, they could get up into vents, but there's 2 players from G2 playing very heavy for ramp. They've got a bit of a crossfire, and Jonah P from site can support so well. A fault line on that line would be deadly.
Here comes Dicey, walking down. Main whips his shot. That is a huge opportunity squandered, and now the whole defense is falling apart. Jonah Dice too.
They've got 3 players on that side of the map, and Bang disposes of them.
100 Thieves is going back towards B. Trent's been a hero. He needs to do it again. Cryo in main. The timing is brutal. Oh, it's just a dismantlement by 100 Thieves. Every timing missed.
Planted.
And the only opportunity left, really, is heroics.
Last player standing.
Looking the wrong No one has been looking at the player they died from.
It's so brutal. Because again, like, G2's setup, if given a little bit more time to cook, would be deadly. But then, as soon as they rotated out of their positions, like as soon as Jonah P got on the move, that was when the lurk timing went up from Bang. That was when all of a sudden VALORANT is abandoning Icy. The timings that round were so unfortunate.
And you also have to criticize Icy. When you have that setup, when you have the breach ready to go, walking up there, need to win that fight.
It all fell apart. They're heavy over towards A.
One more! So good. One more! That's my son right there.
Bucio's got his map down. One more, as a matter of fact. And again, it's just working into mid. Again, a similar setup from G2. Slightly different, fighting on a more forward line this time around.
Poison's off.
A main fight. Bang has to contain. It'll be a stun from Jonah, but he's ahead of this fight. Not enough. Fallon takes him down. Finally an opener for G2.
G2 a little bit cautious that mid could be a gap for them now. Again, that vent space taken, so they rotate back through heaven over towards B. Good stall here from G2, and they're ready to fight off it. Trent is playing on the ground. Leaf out on Raptors, and that blind doesn't hit anything. Leaf's good there for the kill. A paranoia to assist. Wingman falls. 100 Thieves have been stalled out, and Leaf has gotten the job done. All on EU now in a 1v2.
Bring them down.
Spike to be recovered. Jonah towards heaven. He's being watched. The plant being committed. Damage from EU. 40 seconds for the man to work with both players together. But he's repositioned.
He can't plant the spike. There is a fault line. If he goes for this, he's getting stunned. Good position away, and he gets in front for the kill.
1v1. Icy! He can't do it! He wins the clutch after 11 months. 100 Thieves win that series in VCT.
Bucio did a better job taking down EU than anyone on G2 that game. He just tackles the man into his chair. A ridiculous clutch from EU, baiting out the utility perfectly.
And what a way to close. After losing to this score in the Ascension Finals, losing out on his chance in Americas with NAD, he bets them in their debut match here in Stage 1.
Oh man, it is not every day that in America you get an EU chance. But boy, did he get it at the finish there. A phenomenal round from him, almost slipped away. But he kept it together for 100 Thieves to get their first win.
And it just, for 100 Thieves fans, it has got to feel so good. It has been a long time since they have had a team who is a true contender. But this roster, man, they're just getting started.
Shout out as well to 100 Thieves for getting the first win in Omega Group. They did the impossible. Alpha has been taken down. In a very impressive way. Yeah.
First series they've won since lifting the trophy. here in Los Angeles. And you see that smile back on Boosty's face.
I feel like, look, today we got to see a lot, again, of their set ideas, their execs, their retakes on Bind especially were very nice. But the clutch factor on some of these individuals, like, we saw it all day from Cryo, you know. we saw it from Boost, we saw it from Asta, and then it's just EU at the finish too. Could not be slowed down.
Even in that first match, so many clutches from that guy. Cryo as well.
Looking at him.
I mean, finding his mark. Played 2 maps on smokes, performed on both of them.
Yeah, we forgot about this round from EU, where there's an ult into the back of his sight and he gets 2 kills somehow solo anchoring. The amount of rounds 100 Thieves won because of, you know, beating G2 on the clock, or one player anchoring a site getting 2 or 3 completely unfathomable kills was just simply enough for this split to look very good.
Yeah, really good stuff out of them. G2, a tough loss here. Honestly, I think a lot of their ideas, how they like to call this map, playing these really slow rounds, got taken advantage of, like you were talking about, losing to time.
Their attacking side in particular on both maps ran into some issues. Trying out some new things, the solo Yoru over on Bind definitely got exposed some of the weaknesses that can arise in a combo.
Yeah, but I like those ideas we were seeing in that first map. I think this G2 squad, you really can't count them out. They're really playing against 100 Thieves, who looks like one of our top teams here. But that's all for us. We have Geek Heavy standing by on the stage for your Verizon post-match interview.
EU, that clutch was wild. That was insane. Now, this was your first win since you're coming from Ascension. I gotta ask you, how do you feel?
I mean, it feels good, man, especially with all the fans here.
Yes, amazing. Yeah. and like Ender said, it's not every day you get an EU chant, which is just phenomenal. So I gotta ask you this though. Overall, what do you think it was specifically that just made you all just like seal the deal with this?
I feel like we were putting in a lot of practice this week, especially considering we went into the Sentinels match and didn't win. So this week we focused super hard on practice. We made sure that the things that were tough in the Sentinels match, we worked on harder. And I think it showed in this match.
Yeah, well, honestly, it really did. It really did. It was amazing. But next match is against C9. C9. Now, you all went up against them in an off-season event. What do you think is going to happen this time? What's the team synergy feeling like? What's the energy like going into this? Now, they have 2 new players in Rooney and Moose.
Yeah, we scrimmed them a little bit so far, to be honest, and I always like the C9 guys. I'm good friends with Vanity, so we scrimmed them a little bit. We're looking to practice really hard against every opponent. We're preparing really hard, so it doesn't really matter who we're playing. We're looking to win, whether it's Sentinels, C9, G2. We're going to try to win every game.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I know you say you're friends with them, but this isn't about making friends, EU. This isn't about making friends. It's about winning, and I think y'all are doing a phenomenal, amazing job so far, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course, man. Give it up for EU one more time, everybody, for 100 Thieves. All right, we're going to toss things over to a quick break, but we'll be back at the desk.
Red Bull gives you wings.
into the ring.